Supreme Chancellor Zacho's thunderous voice echoed through the Grand Council's crystalline chamber, demanding silence from the 300 representatives of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. His 4 arms raised in unison, signaling the end of chatter. "Order, order," he commanded, his voice reverberating across the vast hall. The chattering stopped, but his words were met with murmurs of unease. He muttered under his breath, "The humans, again, the humans," as his hand ran through his luminescent head tendrils, frustration rising. Ambassador Krell, a tall and dignified draconian with shimmering silver scales, rose from his seat. Known for his diplomatic skill, Krell had long been the voice of reason, advocating for peace and understanding among the council. However, the recent human activity was pushing even his patience. He addressed the assembly, "Honored members of the council, the humans have continued to expand their colonies at an alarming rate. In the past cycle alone, they terraformed 12 previously uninhabitable worlds. Their technology advances at a rate that defies our models for civilizational development." A Zoran representative, their crystalline form pulsing with anxiety, raised a concern. "But they are confined to their sector. The Treaty of New Saturn holds, doesn't it?" Krell's expression darkened as he spoke. "Technically, yes, but their ships have been spotted increasingly close to the Drachnid expanse. Military Commander Vexer has filed multiple complaints about their presence near our mining operations. These so-called primitives are pushing boundaries." General Vexer, a towering military leader covered in battle scars, stood with a snarl. "These primitives need to be taught their place. They emerged from their tiny blue world barely 2 centuries ago. Who are they to challenge civilizations that have ruled the stars for millennia?" Krell met his gaze, his voice firm but calm, "But we must recognize that these primitives have accomplished what took us millennia in just 2 centuries. Their adaptability is remarkable." Vexer's scorn was palpable. "Arrogance is remarkable. They treat space as if it's their playground, their birthright." Before Krell could respond, the emergency communications array flared to life. A hologram of Commander Vexer materialized in the center of the room. He was visibly shaken, his pale scales almost glowing with stress. "Council, there's been an incident. We engaged a human vessel near the Drachnid expanse. They refused to leave. Standard procedure was followed, warning shots were fired, but something went wrong." Krell's heart sank as Vexer continued, "The human ship's shields failed unexpectedly, and our shots, there was a child aboard. A human child, she didn't survive." The silence in the room was deafening. Faces of shock, dismissal, and even contempt spread across the chamber. Krell, however, knew what this meant. "Her name was Emily Chen," Vexer continued, his voice now strained. "She was 8 Earth years old." A voice broke through the silence, asking, "Surely, the humans will understand. It was an accident." Krell's laugh was hollow, devoid of humor. "Understanding," he shook his head, his tone urgent. "You don't understand humans at all, do you? We've just killed one of their children. They're young. Do any of you understand what that means?" Before anyone could respond, the chamber's communication devices began blaring in unison. On the central holographic display, a simple message appeared in stark red letters: "You killed our child. Now, you will learn why humans are feared." The message was signed by the United Earth Government, speaking for all of humanity. Krell closed his eyes, knowing this was the moment everything would change. The Empire had ruled the stars for 10,000 years, but in their arrogance, they had made the gravest mistake of all: they had awakened a sleeping giant. Its name was humanity. Later, aboard the Imperial warship Destiny's Claw, Commander Vexer watched the recorded footage for the 100th time. The small human vessel, barely larger than a standard transport, drifted just inside the Drachnid expanse. The transmission had come through: "This is Dr. Robert Chen, we're conducting authorized research. Our presence here is protected under Article 7 of the New Saturn Treaty." Vexer had been furious at their defiance. How dare these upstarts quote Imperial law to him? His orders had been clear: fire warning shots. 3 precise plasma bursts should have passed harmlessly by the human ship. But something had gone wrong. The human vessel's shields malfunctioned at the wrong moment. The plasma burst hit the engine section directly. Vexer recalled the desperate voice of Dr. Chen. Emily. She was showing her science project to the engineers. Please, cease fire. It was too late. The secondary explosion ripped through the hull. The human ship's force fields saved most of the crew, but the engine section, where 8-year-old Emily had been, was destroyed. The aftermath was a nightmare. Vexer's mind replayed the final moments. The chilling silence, Dr. Chen's dead-eyed transmission of the incident's coordinates to Earth Command. The haunting last words: "You should have killed all of us instead." The Empire dismissed it as human emotional hyperbole. A standard compensation package was approved. But that night, as Vexer prepared for sleep, his personal AI assistant interrupted with an alert: every human ship across the galaxy, military and civilian alike, has changed their transponder signatures. They've added one additional line: remember Emily Chen, age 8, murdered by the Empire. Vexer felt fear for the first time in his long military career. The Empire had forgotten one crucial detail about humans: they were the only known species that would burn the universe down to avenge a single child. The United Earth government's ultimatum arrived on every Imperial communication channel: a simple message with 5 demands: the immediate surrender of Commander Vexer and all involved in Emily's death, the dismantling of military installations near human space, unrestricted access to Imperial territories for human vessels, 10,000 worlds as compensation, and a public acknowledgement of the Empire's crime against humanity. The Empire's response was swift: deploy the 7th Fleet to the human border. 500 capital ships, each capable of reducing a planet to ash, a show of force to remind these upstart humans of their place. What the Empire didn't anticipate was that they were already too late. The first sign of trouble came when every Imperial quantum communications network went dark. Then their navigational systems failed. Ships dropped out of hyperspace into unknown coordinates. Defense platforms turned on their own installations. "It's impossible," the Imperial Techmaster said. "Our systems are unhackable. The humans are centuries behind us." The second wave hit before they could recover. Microscopic machines, billions of them, appeared in Imperial world atmospheres. They consumed military equipment with terrifying efficiency, leaving civilian infrastructure untouched. But the real horror came with the third wave, a weapon unlike anything the Empire had seen before. A beam of pure gravitational distortion, cutting through planetary shields as though they didn't exist. In just hours, the 7th Fleet was no more. The pride of the Empire, the flagship of the 7th Fleet, faced a single human vessel, a small, sleek ship with the words, "Remember Emily," painted on its bow. The human ship broadcasted a message across all frequencies: "We tried to keep her safe. We followed your rules. We trusted your civilization. Our mistake." Then, with surgical precision, the pride of the Empire was sliced in half. The atmosphere vented into space, and the last thing its crew heard was the sound of a child's laughter playing over the emergency channels. The Empire was learning a painful truth: the humans had not only advanced technologically, they had developed weapons specifically designed to counter every advantage the Empire possessed. And now, fueled by grief and rage, they were demonstrating why you should never, ever harm a human child. As the Empire's worlds fell one by one, the galaxy watched in awe. The humans weren't just fighting a war. They were rewriting the rules of warfare itself. The humans had become the galaxy's new superpower, not through fear, but through compassion. They rebuilt the galaxy, piece by piece, starting with the most sacred rule: protect the children, all children, at any cost.